I'd like to do my introductory speech for the 2020-21 budget. Good morning, councillors, executive and members of the public and media with us today via our digital gallery. On behalf of all councillors, it is my pleasure to present the 2020-2021 Scenic Regional Council budget to our community for adoption by council. This is the first budget of this new term of council, and one that has been formulated against a challenging background of sequential disaster events culminating with the current COVID-19 pandemic, and is a budget that is for the whole of the Scenic Rim. I'd like to acknowledge the diligent approach of the councillors as we prepared this budget together. With changes in legislation, council budgets are required to be developed and approved collectively by the elected council. While this council has adopted that approach previously, I'm pleased this is now reflected in the legislation. I also acknowledge and thank the executive and employees of council for their ardent efforts in preparing the supporting materials and operational detail to inform the decision-making of council so effectively. Finding the right balance between the conflicting goals of meeting increasing community expectations, ensuring we meet our commitments to sustainable asset renewal, and maintaining financial sustainability as a council, while mitigating impacts across our communities, are always at the core of our deliberations. This budget shows the benefits of robust planning and analysis, clarity of prioritisation through strategic focus, and commitment to sustainable service delivery and good governance. Councillors, the budget we are considering today gives sharp focus to the immediate circumstance across our region, keeping revenue growth from the general rate and community infrastructure charge to just 0.89% or $440,000 across all categories, plus a projected 1.5% growth in new rateable contributions. However, we will also continue to build on our core commitments to sustainable service delivery, continue our strategic focus on the renewal of our key public spaces, provide strong support for economic and further employment growth and diversity. We are responsibly budgeting for a total expenditure of $87.3 million, inclusive of $22.4 million for capital investment. This is some $11.6 million down from last year's budget of $98.9 million. Councillors, our decisions to maintain services while holding revenue growth to less than half of CPI will see us budgeting for a deficit of $1.43 million. I am pleased that we have a highly competent and committed team led by CEO John Gibbons, who will work fervently and wisely to pursue pragmatic savings to offset some of this impact as the year progresses. Over the past few years, Council has grappled with the ongoing impact of significant valuation increases for some areas and land use types within the region. This has created extremes of variation in valuation across the region and led to some significant concerns about levels of contribution in some quarters. This year we've received a further round of valuations and will be averaging individual property valuation increases from these over a 2-year window. This year we'll see a stepped increase to community infrastructure charge from $322 to $372 per rateable property. However, this will be offset by a reduction in minimum general rate and rate in the dollar to meet the total revenue outcome already discussed as a result of an increase of just 0.89%. We believe this rebalance between these two components on your rates notice further helps to mitigate the impacts of extreme valuation movements over time. Most rates categories will see capped minimum net general rates and community infrastructure charge increases of just 1%. Owner-occupied residential land on the previous minimum rate saw $1,215 as the general rate plus $322 as community infrastructure charge, or a total of $1,537 annually. This year, owner-occupied residential land on the minimum rate will see $1,180 as the general rate plus $372 for the community infrastructure charge, bringing the total to $1,552, which is an increase of just 1%. The rate in the dollar for owner-occupied residential land will reduce by 9.2% from 0.7975 cents in the dollar to 0.7240 cents in the dollar. More than 59%, over 11,100 residential properties, including principal and non-principal place of residence land, will see less than 1% increases in their net rates and charges for the 2020-21 year. Similarly, the net increase for rural principal place of residence land on the minimum rate will be 1%. This will see the minimum net rates and community infrastructure charge for rural principal place of residence land increase by $17 from $1,654 to $1,671. More than 52% of rural principal place of residence properties will see a less than 1% net increase. Further, the rate in the dollar for these properties will reduce a further 10.5% from 0.6875 cents in the dollar to 0.6154 cents in the dollar. The only borrowings proposed for this year's budget is $1.5 million, which is a strategic land purchase on Lupton Road in Beaudesert that is earmarked for a sporting precinct to serve the high population growth expected for Beaudesert in the future. Our budget also benefits from and recognises co-investment from the Queensland and Australian governments for a number of projects, both operational and capital. These include the ongoing Regional Skills Investment Strategy, the appointment of a Resilience Project Officer, the Beaudesert Business Park, Beaudesert Town Centre Revitalisation, Roads to Recovery, and the Bridges Renewal Program. This year, the region will also benefit from Queensland and Australian government grants to support recovery from bushfires and drought, as well as the economic impacts of COVID-19. This includes the Queensland Government's Works for Queensland COVID-19 Recovery Package Unite and Recover Community Stimulus Program and the Australian Government's Local Road and Community Infrastructure Program. We are fortunate to have received funding for a Community Development Officer who will play a vital role in our bushfire impacted communities that need ongoing long-term support to recover and build resilience into the future. Council has enjoyed exceptional success through both Queensland and Australian government grant programs in recent years. This is a positive testament to our improving ability to plan well, demonstrate strong business cases, and execute these to deliver the strong community outcomes sought by all levels of government. Currently, we are anticipating that for the 2020-21 year, these capital and operating grants will collectively bring $17.66 million to our region. And while some of these grants come off the back of very challenging disasters, they enable us to deliver programs and projects that reduce the burden on our ratepayer revenue and our ratepayers. I am optimistic that we will enjoy further support from Queensland and Australian government funding programs as this year progresses. For the most part, fees and charges have been kept at zero increase or in some cases reduced as a result of process improvements and reviews. Within today's budget, I can confirm that for normal domestic wheelie bin services, the annual fee will have a modest increase of $11 per annum to $383 per annum. For domestic users who do not have a bin collection service, however pay a waste disposal fee, the figure will also increase a modest $4 per annum to $138 per annum. This reflects the Queensland Government's full rebating of the cost of the waste levy applicable to domestic curbside waste collection at this time. However, the applicable rates for commercial operators for curbside collection have increased to incorporate a 3% increase in council's cost to serve, so that the new annual fee for a commercial curbside wheelie bin will be $293.50 from the 1st of June to the 31st of December 2020, and $295.50 from the 1st of January to 30th of June 2021. This reflects the Queensland Government's decision to defer increasing applicable deemed allocation of the state waste levy until January 2021. I must stress that it is not discretionary for Council to apply that levy for commercial waste. Rather, it is mandated by the Queensland Government. I would reiterate that while I acknowledge there is clearly some pain in the waste levy for commercial operators, I believe the long-term goal to be more responsible stewards of the whole life cycle of our existence is widely shared across our community, which has been keen to embrace recycling. A key program of work this year will be the development of our long-term waste management strategy to meet future expectations. While the new fees and charges schedule, which is being adopted today for the current financial year, reflects relatively low increases, the new charges won't actually apply until the 1st of August 2020, giving ratepayers across the community a couple of months' reprieve. I attest that this is a fiscally responsible budget. We've committed to retain current services and service levels under a challenging revenue environment. During COVID-19, we had to invent new ways of doing things to adapt to the public health requirements. This has seen efficiencies in the way we operate and deliver some of our services and programs to our communities. And we expect that some of these changes may be embedded into our future way of operating. Achieving organisational efficiencies and service delivery improvements are the cornerstones of our ongoing Refresh and Refocus program and our commitment to providing our customers with an enhanced experience when dealing with Council. I know the CEO will be talking more about some of these operational efficiencies and savings that we are making in more detail in his speech, so I'll leave it at that for now. Council's 2020-21 budget provides $295,000 for our new look community grants program. This intends to combine sport and active recreation grants with community grants to provide a wider range of funding opportunities for not-for-profit organisations across the region. We recognise the value in providing financial and in-kind assistance to local organisations, which rely heavily on volunteers who give so generously of their time and devote much of their energy to making a difference to their communities. And for that, we sincerely thank you. The new Community Grants program takes into account the needs of our rural and regional townships, where community and sporting groups often share the same facilities and have common goals. As part of our focus on efficiencies, we will be streamlining the application process to an online grants management platform. The days of paper-based applications will be gone, and this provides more efficiencies for both Council and for our grant applicants. We will continue our investment of $90,000 to maintain the expanded 12-month Be Healthy and Active program, which last year included 65 health and wellbeing activities delivered by 42 Scenic Rim businesses and community organisations in 17 towns and villages across the region. It is not only the participants who have enjoyed the social connections and friendships they have formed through Be Healthy and Active. This program is an opportunity for our local health and wellbeing providers and community organisations to raise their profile, all while helping to create a healthier and connected community. Investing in the region's conservation to enhance some of the region's most valuable natural assets, its spectacular scenery and pristine environment also features in today's budget. Our key industries of tourism and agriculture depend on the maintenance of the ecological balance, which our $103,000 environmental grants program, in conjunction with our biodiversity strategy, will help to support. In addition to the environmental grants program, Council's 2020-21 budget provides $50,500 for the Million Trees program, which aims to plant 1 million native trees throughout the Scenic Rim by 2025. Over the coming year, we will continue our strong focus on delivering on the commitments of our Scenic Rim Regional Prosperity Strategy 2020 to 2025. The Scenic Rim's first ever 5-year strategy has a primary goal of creating valuable jobs for our local people. Against our challenging backdrop, supporting economic growth and creating local jobs is more critical than ever for our region, for our people. We know there are those across our communities who are hurting and who have lost their jobs and businesses, and we are working hard to support those people. Partnering for prosperity with our key industries, local businesses and other levels of government is key to supporting our region's economic recovery during this challenging time. Council has a key role to facilitate economic growth. However, we need to work collectively and collaboratively as one Scenic Rim to generate prosperity for our region. As a council, we have made a clear and conscious mandate to purchase locally where possible to support our local businesses and help them to achieve the economic outcomes that they work so hard for, and which provide, of course, flow-on benefits to our communities. In the last quarter, we have paid $7.4 million to local suppliers through a disciplined approach to our procurement practices and a determined focus as part of our first economic stimulus package in response to COVID-19. This equates to 36% of Council's expenditure and is a notable step up from our previous annual percentage of 29%. Of course, there are always expenses that are outside of the region that we can't control, such as energy, telecommunications, taxes and superannuation costs. We are transparent and deliberate about how we spend our ratepayers' dollars and provide a breakdown of local spend each month in our financial reporting at our council meetings. Through our capital program for the 2020-21 financial year, we again deal with two types of issues. The first is our ongoing base service level maintenance of our infrastructure and assets, which is very much driven by condition monitoring and life cycle management. The second is the program of strategic change, which takes a long-term approach to ensure the attractiveness and livability of our communities. This program looks at investment over a 10 to 20 year timeframe, and therefore we aren't always able to deliver something in every community in every year. The $22.43 million capital program this year will include 5 road projects and 4 bridge replacements or upgrades. Some of these projects are only possible due to confirmed match funding from the Australian Government, for which we are grateful. Our Vibrant and Active Towns and Villages program is a core focus of our corporate plan. The revitalised spaces already delivered in the Beaudesert Town Centre have been well received by the local community. The local artwork in the precinct helps relay stories about Boona's Indigenous, agricultural and ecological past, present and aspirations for the future, and forms part of the wider heritage and public arts trail throughout the High Street precinct. Works are continuing and the project is expected to be completed by the end of the calendar year. After seeking community feedback, the Beaudesert Town Centre revitalisation project will begin this year, with initial work starting in Selwyn Street to improve traffic flow. The multi-year project will transform the heart of Beaudesert to provide our residents, businesses and visitors with a vibrant and active town centre. Work will also start on a business case to look at options for redeveloping Tamborine Mountains Gallery Walk so that we can look to create a vibrant precinct with transformed streetscaping in line with the natural beauty of the rainforests and village character. The revitalisation of our public spaces across the region is key to enhancing economic growth, jobs creation and community vitality. Roadworks to enable safer access to the Beaudesert Business Park expansion project are underway. The expanded 11-hectare site will create opportunities for local businesses to retain and expand their capabilities and attract new industries to strengthen the local economy. We're expecting the lots to be on the market later this year. The project is proudly co-funded by the Queensland Government under the Building Our Regions Program Round 4 in association with us as the Council. As always, Council will balance economic growth with preserving the natural environment, with the Waters Creek Reserve remaining adjacent to the development. Councillors, in our proposed budget, we have struck a balance to ensure we continue to deliver pertinent services for all our communities, that we continue to deliver significant support initiatives for all our communities, that we continue to deliver strong infrastructure support for all our communities, and importantly, that we continue to support and renew economic growth, drive prosperity and employment generation to move forward strongly and together. In so doing, we have sought to minimise our revenue, soften and share the impact and contain our expenditure. With this budget, we are standing beside our community as one Scenic Rim. Together, we rise to these latest challenges, and as we have done before, to rise above them to be a stronger, more capable, more resilient, and a more successful Scenic Rim. I commend the 2020-2021 Scenic Rim Regional Council budget to you.